Hello and welcome to what I hope will be the first of a new series of videos for a new build that I'm going to do. Now since doing my recent guitar courses, I've now completed 3 weeks of tuition at Crimson Guitars over the last year and a half or so. I've made a few guitars at home. I'm just finishing off a couple at the moment, and I decided that I wanted to start another build. Now obviously I'm still at the stage where I think I can do better than the old tried and tested classic guitar designs, so I'm going to do something a bit different, and that's why I've decided that it would be worth doing some videos on this build, because it's going to be a little bit different and hopefully interesting. I have no pretensions. I don't want this to be seen as a tutorial, because I'm not an expert on guitar building, and I'm going to make plenty of mistakes along the way, I expect. I don't know whether it's going to be successful or not, but hopefully it'll be a bit of fun finding out. And I plan on doing a few videos, I don't know how many, over the course of the next few months, or however long it takes me to build this guitar. Now the basic concept is sort of a 12-string hollow body guitar. I've been lusting after PRS hollow bodies in particular for some time, and recently I saw a 12-string hollow body on Thomann, which is very tempting but also very expensive, and so I thought I can maybe build something a bit like that. Despite the fact that I've never even played a 12-string before, but how hard can it be? So the plan is to make effectively a through neck, but it won't go through to the very end of the guitar, and then to construct a kind of hollow body around it. Now the idea is I've got a couple of Zebrano tops, and I'm going to use one for the base of the guitar, or the back of the guitar, probably this one, and I'm going to use the other one for the top, probably this one. They're both very nice. I haven't decided yet whether I will stain them at all, but I'll decide about that later on. Around that, I need to construct the edge of the guitar, and what I plan to do is to try to make a kind of checkered pattern around the edge using two different contrasting types of wood. And so for that, I have various options. I want a light wood and a darker wood. The light wood I think will be this, which is a piece of sycamore that's left over from a previous build, the Sunrise guitar. And I think that I'll be able to make enough blocks out of this to go around the edge, to make half of the edge. And for the other part, I've got a few options. This is possibly the favourite one at the moment. This is a piece of very colourful Paduke, and I made a kind of strat out of the rest of this. So this was basically, well, the plank was twice this size. I used half of this for another guitar in the past, which looks really nice, and I still have this available. If anybody particularly would like me to make a guitar for them out of this, then contact me. Anyway, so I have the offcut of that, which I can cut up into pieces and possibly use together with this to construct the sides of the guitar. The neck I will, because it's a 12-string guitar and therefore the tension on the neck is going to be that much greater than a regular 6-string guitar, it will need to be a strong neck. I have a couple of options for that. I've got a lump of oak which I bought, which will make a neck at some point. And oak being a very strong wood, this could be a candidate for it. The only issue with this is that it's not quite long enough to do the whole neck and the headstock, particularly because the headstock for a 12-string guitar needs to be longer than a regular headstock, because you've got 12 tuners to put on it. So I probably won't go with this. The most likely solution is that I'll take a few bits of other pieces of wood that I've got and create a laminate neck that will be long enough to go from tip of the headstock through to just past the bridge. And that will essentially be the core of the guitar. and everything else built around that. But we'll see about that. I have a couple of offcuts. This is a piece of wenge from another guitar body that I am in the process of finishing, and I'm thinking that I might be able to use this to create a thin layer sandwiched in the outline of the body. We'll see. And then for the fretboard, I've got a number of options. Possibly this Violetta fretboard, which I got recently, which is really nice. Possibly the second one of my wavy fretboards that I made, and I have another guitar that I've just finished, a baritone, which I was making on my most recent Crimson Guitars course, using the other part of this, the other fretboard that I made out of these two. But we'll see. I'll take the decision about the fretboard when the body has come together and I can see how the colours will all go. That all said, the first job to do is to put these caps, glue these caps together into the back and the front of the guitar, and then I can cut out the shape of it and begin to construct the sides around there. So let's get on with that. Okay, so that's now all clamped up with the clamps to press it together and these ones to try and keep it flat, at least whilst it's gluing. The cap itself is ever so slightly curved, so as long as it's straight when it's glued, then hopefully the rest of it will plane out if necessary. So that's the first one. I'm going to leave that to dry for a few hours. Possibly till tomorrow, when I can do the second one. Before going any further with the build, I decided to follow a good tip and actually draw out the design of the guitar. And it's a side profile, and I did this on 4 sheets of A4. And the idea is really to draw everything to scale, including particularly the bridge, and doing that actually solves a problem of working out the neck break angle and therefore the design of the neck, and that's the principal reason for doing this. So now I've got the top and back of my 12-string guitar, plus I've made some of these bricks. They still need a bit of work, but they're getting there. And from an old offcut of an ebony fretboard, I've made some little strips of ebony, which I think I'm going to use to go between the 2 rows of bricks. The next thing to think about is the neck and how I'm going to make that. Now I've already got several types of wood here, and I'm mindful of what I was told at Crimson Guitars, which was that I shouldn't use ideally more than 4 different types of wood. I do want to make a laminate neck for this guitar, particularly for the strength. As it's a 12-string guitar, there's going to be a lot more string pull and a lot more tension along the neck, so I definitely want to make a laminate. And I need it to be the length of the scale length, the strings, plus the headstock, because it's going from headstock to bridge. Now fortunately I've got in my stock some pieces of wood of the same types as I've already used. So I've got a long piece of sycamore, which I bought in England last time I was there. I've got a nice plank of padauk, which is very orangey. And I also happen to have a piece of zebrano. So I think what I'm going to do is to make a 5-piece laminate neck out of these 3, which will match the woods that I've got here and hopefully not look too gaudy.